Hey, kia ora everyone, this here was recorded some time ago, but it's a very special find. I have here a very old luggage case that I stumbled upon while I was cleaning out my home, and inside this luggage case here I have found these. Some very old Lego sets that predate me, and I wonder how many of you at home are younger or older than these sets. These were gifted to me from my grandmother who I lost last year. It feels very special that I managed to find these then, as you can imagine. Inside we have some instructions printed out on some paper, but the sets aren't anywhere to be found here. The most interesting find, of course, was this one, set 928 Space Cruiser and Moonbase, a triple digit set number. It does feature the instructions and it does feature the box. The set even supposedly contains every part and figure, also mixed in amongst everything else in here, which means I have a little bit of sorting to do. This was going to be the first time I ever try and organize these things because the task seemed very daunting when I first received this case almost 10 years ago. The parts here were scattered everywhere, and the minifigures, my god, I don't think I've seen figures in worse condition before. I thought the box was bad. So once I prepared myself for the job, I got straight into it, and this was how far I managed to get myself. The set is still missing some pieces, but it was a very hot day and I could no longer find the parts amongst everything else. I do believe the parts are still in that luggage case, I really do. It's just going to require me to sort through them once more and to properly figure out which piece goes with which set. So this here is set 928, the Space Cruiser and Moonbase. It contained 338 pieces in total, with 4 minifigures, 2 astronauts in red suits and 2 in white suits. For the first time ever on this channel, I don't know what the set cost in 1979. Every result when I try to look this up online just shows me the current market value price or the price of the remake, which we'll take a look at the end. Before properly looking at today's price though, from searching online, it looks like there were 2 different regional versions of the set released. The same set here released under the number 497 entitled the Galaxy Explorer, which I believe is the more well-known name for the set. It's crazy to me that a box difference is all that can change a price. So the set that I have in my collection currently in the aftermarket space is considered to be valued at 2,207 NZD sealed, or $320 NZD in second-hand condition, although with the state that my one is in, I definitely wouldn't be looking at that kind of a figure. The other one though is currently valued at $4,154 NZD sealed. That's almost double the price. In second-hand quality though, the price appears to be rather similar at $384 in NZD. And I'm really thrilled to have this because in my eyes, this is the classic space set to have. We've got a really cool ship and a base plate that features a control system, 2 base plates actually, with one of them featuring some special molds built into them. The control tower is a very simple design, and we even have a small rover here too. I've never had one of these fancy space plates in my collection before with the moon rocks that are built in. You see this stuff all the time at the LEGO conventions we have here in this country, so it's awesome to actually have one myself. And to go back to when everything was printed, the space logos and the control panels, it just makes things so much easier. Something I don't miss about old sets though, these structural issues compared to the modern day. Connected by just 2 square plates there, you gotta be very careful when moving this thing around. As far as the actual Starship Cruiser here though, it feels surreal to have in my personal collection. It's such a classically designed LEGO set, very iconic to the brand, and yeah, my set does have issues with it. She's not in the best quality, but that means that this thing was clearly loved by the previous owner, whoever that happened to be in my family. It's cool to see some similar design patterns here though, with parts that make up engines or stark differences when it comes to the cockpit, which here use all kinds of translucent bricks to help build up that design. Nowadays it would just be one piece and that's it. And it reminds me of the classic Star Wars ships that I grew up admiring, which would all just be built out of these flat plates for the body of the build. This thing here looks very uncomfortable to fly. You can faintly see some cracks and dings in my yellow bricks there, but again, printed pieces and the print quality looks definitely dated. It's actually rubbing off on this side here by that alarm piece and near that little storage section. This here's a better look at those brakes that I was mentioning earlier. The set actually does include some play elements. The back of the ship there can open up like so. This is how you access a very empty interior space, but it does have enough room for our little buggy. The top door there opens up like so, and inside you can fit a minifig. There's just a simple steering wheel there and some controls too, but nothing too major here really. You can see the little guy there staring right back at us. As for the minifigures here, they appear like so, and in my eyes I've got 2 pretty good ones, both representing each color, and 2 minifigures that are in some of the worst condition I think I've ever seen on minifigs that can still function. You know what I mean? Like the faces here are gone, but they're still standing. So these here are the classic spacemen that most of the adult community just go feral for. The classic spacemen though, none of that Lego movie Benny love letter type stuff. This is the real deal. A very simple and effective minifig. Each comes with their helmet that do not feature cracks here, that's pretty cool. A tank on their back there. It's also retro feeling, I love it. The torso print there is also really good too. This one I think managed to stay in the best condition. His face does show a little bit of wear and tear, but not nearly as bad as the other red astronaut. The next figure here is also the best of those two. This guy comes with the buggy, and something about the white bricks is that they have a real easy chance of going yellow. It really sucks, but I'm told that it can be fixed. You just have to watch a couple of tutorials online about it, and be careful when you're trying to bring that color back. Actually noticing now in the edit, he does have cracks in his legs there. The feet are just busted. This figure is pretty close to grey than his original color really. They both fare better than these two though. The prints are just about gone, and I have that white astronaut there with his arm up in the air, so you can see that torso crack. That thing goes all the way to the top. It's some insane damage on these figures, so I'm very happy to at least have the other two. So let's talk about the box here. The cover art is gorgeous. Of course, no, I'm not talking about the box condition here. That's in pretty poor quality, of course. No, it's the artwork that is so enticing. You've got the Lego logo appearing on the other side of the box here, just very different to what we have today. The top of the box there with the title of Legoland, and I'll put some required reading in the description here about the Lego Space and Legoland stuff. It can all be found on the official website, basically sets that were celebrating the theme parks. The rest of the box there features some information for the buyer and some imagery of the set all over. The back of our box here features all kinds of crazy looking artwork. We have a whole section of alt builds there which make for some crazy releases. I really like this thick one down there. My issue with these was always how much I loved these kinds of alt build designs, but the instructions didn't exist. These images were meant to inspire you to make it yourself your own way, and the old style boxes here opened up like so. It was a window like style with a bit more imagery inside, and the parts here were separated in plastic shells. The type of images that you imagine you would see on the box, this is all dedicated to this specific build, no alt builds or anything of that nature. And the shell's really messed up, though the one underneath appears to be in pretty decent condition, a very cool fun throwback. The instructions are also crazy different compared to what we see today. For starters, the layout kind of reminds me of polybags. The image of the set is only at the very top there, and then you just get into it. The theming on the inside is built on the moon with space for the background. And I also want to take the time to highlight just how much of a nightmare this thing was to build. Thankfully, the set here does actually show you what parts you need for each section at the very least, but it does not highlight where those parts are supposed to go. So I frequently found myself just staring at this thing feeling stumped. And also take a look at how much ground is covered here. This is stage 11 to 14. You suddenly have so much more built compared to the slower pace that sets will go for today. The back of the manual here has a really great landscape image of a collection of sets, a big display idea for all of the builders out there, and who would have thought that we would still be seeing stuff like this on displays today. I also really wanted to highlight the Lego catalog there, dated as 1980. I found two of these in the luggage, though they feature the exact same contents inside. You open up to things like Fabuland and Lego town-based sets and space stuff, and what would eventually be rather early concepts of things like Lego City. Just really great stuff, honestly. Now, I mentioned before that this to me feels like the ideal classic space set to buy, and that's because this set was actually reimagined just a couple of years back into this thing. This here is set 10497, the Galaxy Explorer, and see, that set number is the same as the original but in the 10,000s. The set here is just magnificent and certainly an upgrade. Part of me wishes that these beautiful recreations, or reimaginings as Lego would call them, would actually just be the original but modernized, not these hulking amazing things that cost me a lot of money. I fell in love with this thing when it released, but I couldn't afford it at the time. I'm very thankful that I managed to find it for a great second-hand price, and since I have the original, of course I had to buy this. It doesn't take long to be able to tell the difference in build techniques here. Flat tiles used for some smooth-like areas, parts like grill pieces and bricks with texture. You've got two canopy pieces here and engines that are actual builds themselves. This remake here also features a crazy interior space with a buggy and an opening door. Can you imagine them trying to pull this off in the 70s? It's funny how big this is too, because it doesn't really fit on the display. Well, I mean, it kinda does, but it covers up your entire ground there. I'd love to have both of these on my display, but I don't think it's possible in my current living situation. But that's my little time capsule coverage of a classic Lego set and an amazing remake as well. Thanks for joining me on this event today. I had a great time piecing this classic set together, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Ka kite taone everyone, take care, see you all next time.